For many years, there's been a significant backlash against the housing market and people saying, look, I can't afford the American dream. The American dream includes owning a home, white picket fence, and all that. Well, there's a lot more to it than that, but there may be some real obstacles to owning a dream home. An American dream and dream home are related, but they're not exactly the same. You can still have the American dream and own a home if you change the definition of what is a dream home. If you're watching all of the online home buying shows or the celebrity type reality shows and see these large lavish homes and realize or come to the conclusion that that's the only kind of house that you could be happy with, you probably aren't going to own a dream home. But according to this article, 50% of Americans say they're giving up on their dream home. Now, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. If it means you're giving up on the idea of buying a home, that's a bad thing, because home ownership will be a pathway to the American dream and financial security. But if you're giving up on buying a particular type of home and realize that any home could be a dream, that's a different story. It's unclear exactly what percentage of people are just not going to buy any house or that are going to downscale the results. We've talked on this channel for many years about how buying a home, the most you can reasonably, would be a good thing rather than staying in a rental landlord situation. So what's changing now? Well, obviously there was higher prices, but when higher prices first happened over the period of time from, let's say, 2018 to 2020 and 21, there's a 24 or 30 month period where home prices went up. Really, for all intents and purposes, they roughly doubled, right? Over the course of 24 to 30 months. That's a big jump. But there was still a huge demand for all those homes with the higher prices because interest rates were low. Even though the house price went up from 250 to 450 to 500 at a 2 or 3% mortgage, that house was still a very, very cheap monthly payment. Well, now the home prices went up and locked in, and then mortgage rates went up from 3% to really almost 8% now. That is the nail in the coffin that stopped a lot of people from buying a house. And the bad part is house prices are relatively sticky. Once they go up, they ratchet to that level and very rarely slide back down very quickly. Interest rates can go up and down, kind of like the stock market. It can go up and down within days. House prices are not quite as liquid. They don't vary that much. You may think, well, the housing crash in 2008. Well, that's a different story. That was a situation where a large percentage of homes were not technically owned with solid backing. A lot of people had interest-only loans. They had 4 or 5 different houses that they bought just for speculation. It wasn't the same level of primary residence owners or houses that had a solid ownership. Most of the home ownership units this day and age have a large percentage down payment. They have a low interest rate, and they had very significant underwriting that went into purchasing that home, meaning that the buyer was vetted for their income, for their credit, for their down payment. So these aren't people that can just walk away from a house. In 2008, 20 or 30% of the people who were homeowners put nothing down. They had bad credit. They had 3 or 4 houses in their name. So to them, there was nothing to lose by walking away. That's not the case right now. So even though there's pressure on the market because the price is too high, there's still a demand for homes. So prices can't backslash that much or backslide that much. They have an underpinning of owners who believe in the value and buyers who need a home. There's still a shortage of houses in the market, which was the opposite of 2008, where there was a surplus of homes. So even though interest rates and the price going up has created affordability problems, there's still going to be buyers for these homes in most cases. Will the prices shoot up more? Probably not anytime soon. Will there be some discounting here and there, especially for houses that somebody took a speculative shot with the price? Probably, but it's not going to go back down to the core pricing of 2019 or even 20. Home ownership is something that's very important. Anybody who's waiting for rates to go down or waiting for prices to go down may be left out from future home ownership benefits of not having to worry about your rent going up. Look, if you think that rates are going to go up or prices will go up, that's 50-50. Maybe, maybe not. It's certain that your rent's going to go up. If you're renting an apartment or a house, next year for your renewal, it's definitely going to go up. There's no two ways about it. It may go up a lot, especially as landlords start to see more people that can't afford to buy a house has to rent. The rental market is going to go through the roof, even more than it already is. A lot of the houses that are being purchased by investors. These are hedge funds that are buying houses knowing they're going to get a return. In fact, according to this article from CoreLogic, nearly 1 out of 3 homes sold in the Dallas-Fort Worth area was bought by an investor. Nationwide, it's even more of an issue. Last year, investors purchased more than 50% of all homes sold in 21 zip codes in the DFW area. What does that mean? That means that people who are putting their money, logic, behind their purchase are betting that housing is going to be solid, whether they're buying it to rent, buying it to resell in the future. These are people that aren't making a decision based on the color of the walls or how nice the landscape is. They're doing financial calculations. So if you want to ride the coattails and piggyback on smart money financial calculations, you can just copy what they're doing and buy a house. You may not have 20 or 50 houses in your inventory, but at least if you have one that you're living in, it serves 2 purposes. It's a roof over your head. It's residence where your payment's not going to go up next year for rental, and you're copying financial strategies from experts in the field. So really, it's 3 benefits. Let us know what you think in the comments about the future of real estate. And remember this, a lot of people think, well, the housing price is going to go down. Houses are going to crash. How much of that is wishful thinking? In your own heart, ask yourself when you say house's price is going to crash, it must crash. How much of that is wishful thinking that you want it to crash so you can buy a house? How much of it is logical analysis and rational understanding of what's going to happen in the market?